Mass Kilapavur.
Hi, welcome to Mass Kilapavur channel. I am Dr. Aruna Shanmugavil. In this video, we are going to learn about the parts, development and clinical anatomy of maxilla. Before entering into the session, let us see a quote. The secret of change is to focus all your energy not on fighting the old but on building the new. Shall we step into the topic? The maxilla is a paired pneumatic bone. It is the second largest bone of the face. It forms upper jaw, greater part of floor and lateral wall of nasal cavity, greater part of floor of orbital cavity, roof of oral cavity, and anterior wall of infratemporal fossa. The parts of maxilla are body and four process: frontal, zygomatic, alveolar, and palatine process. We will concentrate on the body of maxilla in this video. The body is pyramidal in shape with base directed medially at the nasal surface and apex directed laterally at zygomatic process. The body of maxilla has four surfaces: anterior or malar, posterior or infratemporal, superior or orbital, medial or nasal. The anterior surface is limited above by infraorbital margin, below by the alveolar process, and medially by nasal notch. In this surface, you can appreciate infraorbital foramen, incisive fossa, canine eminence. The infraorbital foramen is the anterior opening of infraorbital canal. It transmits infraorbital nerve and vessels. Do you remember the source of origin of infraorbital nerve? Yes, it is the terminal part of maxillary nerve. Remember the muscles above and below the infraorbital foramen. Above the foramen is the levator labii superioris muscle, and below the foramen is the levator anguli oris muscle. Above the sockets for incisa, there is a depression called incisive fossa. The muscles taking origin from this area are from the fossa depressor septi nasi, above the fossa nasalis, below the fossa incisive slips of orbicularis oris. Above the socket for canine is the canine fossa. This is the thinnest part of the maxilla. The canine fossa is located just below the infraorbital foramen. The muscle attached here is the levator anguli oris. The incisive and canine fossae are separated by canine eminence. The posterior surface forms the anterior wall of infratemporal fossa. In the middle of this surface, two or three posterior superior alveolar canals open for the posterior superior alveolar nerves and vessels. Just above the three molars, the upper fibers of buccinata takes origin. Buccinata is the whistling muscle. Behind the third molar, there is a rounded eminence called maxillary tuberosity. The upper medial part of this tuberosity articulates with the pyramidal process of palatine bone. The lower lateral part gives origin to superficial head of medial pterygoid muscle. The upper medial part of infratemporal surface is related to pterygopalatine fossa, and this area is grooved by maxillary nerve. The superior surface forms the floor of orbital cavity. It is triangular in shape. In this surface, a groove is seen which leads to a canal and finally open into a foramen. This groove is the infraorbital groove, the canal is the infraorbital canal, and the foramen is the infraorbital foramen. The infraorbital groove is bridged by orbitalis muscle, which is the only smooth muscle attached to the bone. The infraorbital nerve and vessels are transmitted in this groove. The infraorbital canal gives canalis sinosus, which transmits anterior superior alveolar nerve and vessels. Canalis sinosus lies in the anterior wall of maxillary sinus. There are three borders for the orbital surface of body of maxilla: anterior, posterior, and medial. The anterior border forms the infraorbital margin. This border is continuous medially with anterior lacrimal crest, which is present in the frontal process of maxilla. The posterior border is round and smooth. It forms the anteromedial boundary for inferior orbital fissure. Do you remember the structures passing through this fissure? The maxillary nerve, the zygomatic nerve, emissary vein connecting inferior ophthalmic vein and pterygoid plexus of veins. The medial border articulates with lacrimal bone, labyrinth of ethmoid, orbital process of palatine bone from before backwards. The medial border anteriorly presents a notch called lacrimal notch, which is converted into nasolacrimal canal by the descending process of lacrimal bone. We'll see the details of this canal in the next video. Near this lacrimal notch, that is, in the anteromedial aspect of this surface, inferior oblique muscle of eyeball takes origin. The medial surface of body of maxilla forms the lateral wall of nose. This surface shows a large opening called maxillary hiatus, which leads to maxillary sinus. This opening is reduced in size in the articulated skull by the four bones from above uncinate process of ethmoid, inferiorly inferior nasal concha, anteriorly lacrimal bone, posteriorly perpendicular plate of palatine bone. There are two grooves in this surface. One is in front of the maxillary hiatus and the other is behind the hiatus. The groove in front is the nasolacrimal groove that will be converted into nasolacrimal canal while articulating with lacrimal bone. It transmits nasolacrimal duct. Anterior to this groove, there is an oblique ridge called conchal crest which articulates with inferior nasal concha. The groove behind is the greater palatine groove that will be converted into greater palatine canal when it articulates with perpendicular plate of palatine bone. This canal transmits greater and lesser palatine nerves and vessels. Hope you remember that the greater palatine nerve is the anterior palatine nerve and lesser palatine nerves are the middle and posterior palatine nerves arising from pterygopalatine ganglion. The area below the maxillary hiatus is smooth and concave. It forms a part of inferior meatus of nose. Shall we end the session with a quote? Time is what we want most and what we use worst. Thank you for watching.
If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon, select all to get instant notification.